Okay. Um, as many of you know, I am currently advocating for my wife who had a stroke on April 23rd and a few subsequent strokes since. She is now fading in and out of coherence, so it's definitely up to me to speak to her. This is incredibly challenging, yet I'm finding it an amazing spiritual awakening as well. It's quite ironic that I began planning this service months ago before we were in this situation. We probably all know of situations where people knew something was wrong, but their doctors didn't quite catch it because they didn't know the person as well as we do. We're not here today to bash doctors, but rather to learn how to be more effective in getting the help. For myself, a couple of years ago, I went for a walk, and after only about a quarter of a mile, I started feeling short of breath and a very heavy feeling in my chest. It was one of those days that they had designated as an air quality alert day, so I turned around and slowly went home, figuring that was it. A couple of days later, I went for a walk on the beach, and again, I felt the same symptoms. Since the air quality was supposed to be good that day, I realized it wasn't the air, it was me. So I stopped exercising, I went to my doctor and began a series of tests to find that my heart wasn't functioning so well. I went in to get stents put in, but the doctor found that I had 100% blockage in the front and 90% in the back. So stents wouldn't have been effective, and so we scheduled a double bypass quickly, and that saved my life. I'm so grateful. I have also been a caregiver for my mother, who gradually slipped into Alzheimer's before she died in 2010 at the age of 94. One of the best practices I found to help put me in the right frame of mind is the loving kindness meditation, also called metta in the Buddhist tradition. When my mother would get irritable and I began to lose patience, I would go for a walk around the grounds of her retirement community, repeating this meditation until I was in a more peaceful and patient place. Then I walked back into her apartment with a peaceful, loving attitude and a smile on my face, and she'd be happy to see me. The silver lining of Alzheimer's is that she would have completely forgotten any tension we previously experienced. So one day last month, as I was driving up to Providence to be with Margie in the Rhode Island hospital, I remembered how that loving kindness meditation had helped so much in the past, so I began doing it as I drove. It was a very cloudy day, but just then the sun broke through, and it was telling me I was on the right track. There are many iterations of this meditation, but I learned the version that I used decades ago from Joan Borysenko. I want to share this practice with you now so that you may experience it for your benefit, for yourselves and others. So, if you wouldn't mind, put your feet on the floor, take a deep, cleansing breath. Get comfortable and close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And say to yourself, may I be at peace. May my heart remain open. May I awaken to the light of my own true nature. May I be healed, and may I be a source of healing for all beings. You can repeat this as many times as necessary. And next, think of someone easy to love, whether that's a child or a pet, anyway, someone easy, and send these blessings to them. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings. And next, think of someone else, perhaps someone with whom you have had some difficulty, and send them these blessings. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings. And you can send these blessings to as many people as you'd like. And then finally, picture the earth as if you're in outer space, seeing that beautiful blue, green, white, brown ball that is our home. And bless the earth. May there be peace on earth. May hearts everywhere remain open. May we awaken to the light of our own true natures. Earth, may you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings. And when you're ready, you can come back to this room, open your eyes. I love written a book called Dying to Be Heard, The Importance of Advocating for Yourself and Loved Ones. I had talked with Ava here after a few services she attended, and I knew she was a nurse with plenty of experience, so I went ahead and bought a copy of the book, knowing it would be relevant at some point. Little did I know. You can now understand why I wanted to bring Ava Sawyer to share with all of you how to be a strong, effective advocate for your own or someone else's medical care. And now we'll do the covenant. So Ava Sawyer is a local retired licensed practical nurse with 55 years of experience in the field. Her passion has always been caring for people, which is why she has written this book, her new book called Dying to Be Heard. We welcome Ava to the pulpit.
Good morning. How is everyone doing this morning other than being wet? I'm so happy to be here. I want to thank Kathy for reading my book and inviting me to speak to you today. It's an honor. I am so grateful to have a place to share my stories and my message. Oh, sorry. This is something I was not going to share, and after hearing some of the joys and concerns, I changed my mind and I'm going to share it. A couple of years ago, I was told that I am going blind. And when someone mentioned about procrastinating and not doing things, and I'm here to tell you I have not wasted 1 minute fighting reality. And my book was written. I've seen the Grand Canyon. I'm taking art lessons. And I just got back from the Smithsonian to see the beautiful artwork. And so when I heard that, I just felt I had to share this. It's so true. do it now. My hope today is that you'll leave here with an understanding about how powerful finding your voice can be. Let me ask you something. Have any of you ever been in a doctor's office, let's not even say just in life, speaking to someone and feel that you're not being heard? Yeah, I know I have. It's not about blaming, pointing a finger. It's about connection, about getting that true connection so that you can find your voice and be heard. My book is about how to effectively speak and with kindness and compassion so that you get better outcomes, and in some cases you actually can save lives. I illustrate these circumstances about how to find your voice and how powerful it can be through 30 short stories in my book that are all true from the experiences of my 50 plus years in the nursing career. My intention is to share this message with as many people as I can. I feel it is that important, and I have already gotten some great feedback that people who have read the book, taken the approach, and have seen great outcomes that they could never imagine just by finding their voice, speaking with kindness and compassion, and getting that connection. So my simple message in the book is to find your voice, speak up, and you will truly see things start to happen. People will listen when you speak out of kindness and compassion. I've witnessed it. I've coached so many patients when I see the anger, the upset, to get into a place where they can speak with this kindness and compassion, ask for help. It works. I have a question. Does everyone here know what a patient portal is? Okay. I imagine most of you do, but I have another question. Is there anyone here who does not have one set up yet? I can see the hands. Well, it's important. It is, now years ago, you had to get your records, you had to go physically to the hospital. You had to fill out 2 or 3 forms or sign them. Then in a lot of cases, you had to wait 2 weeks. Then you had to go back to the hospital, show them your license, prove who you are, and then you would get your records. Today, they make it very simple through what they call a patient portal. And it's a secure online, sometimes an app, and it houses everything. And your history, your present, your medications, you can message your doctor through it. You can read all of your test results, in many cases, before the doctor does. And some people, that can be a problem when they're reading and don't know what they're reading. But it's essential. If you don't have one and you sign up for one, you might be shocked at some of the diagnoses and things you've had in the past you don't even remember. It's worse than that, though, is finding something that is not true. For instance, you might read it, it says you have high blood pressure and you don't. And again, throughout my book, I say it over and over, people, doctors, nurses, we're all human. I don't say mistakes might be made, they will. And through finding your voice and speaking up, it can alleviate a lot of very bad things that can happen. You can, I find most doctors are very happy, again, with kindness and compassion and asking for help. They're happy to get that information, it helps them. So I think that you should go this week and sign up to your portal. I have another approach that I take and I coach people. And over again, I've witnessed this working. And if you go into a doctor's office and he asks you, what's wrong? And most people just start listing their aches and pains and ailments. And what I find works is you tell the doctor you need some help. You simply, from your heart, when he wants to know what's wrong, you say, "Doctor, I'm wondering if you can help me." The minute that not only a doctor, just people in general, hear that you need help, their listening opens up. Now you have them listening to you. They want to help you. After that, before you start with all your ailments or whatever you have, you tell them how you feel. Say, I really could use your help. Now, from your heart, you tell them how you feel. I'm nervous. I'm afraid. I'm anxious. Whatever it might be, let them know that. And by this time, you have that connection. And he's listening. He's not thinking about the patient he just left or the next patient he's going to go see. He's listening. And I suggest, this is something I'm sure most of you already do, write a list with how many times I've walked out of that doctor's office and have not gotten the answers that I wanted. So when you have a list, you cannot go wrong. Now, this one is really tough. I find it difficult. I coach people on it. It's not easy, but it's essential. At the end of your appointment, now remember, you already have this connection. So just realize that you've got this connection and you can do this. And you're going to ask the doctor, could you please reiterate? Could you please tell me what you heard me tell you, that what's going on? And many occasions, say the doctor said, well, you've had a terrible headache for the last 3 weeks. No, that was 3 days. I don't worry about if he didn't listen or if I said it wrong. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the doctor gets the right information. Because if he doesn't, you can have many tests that aren't even necessary. And it really, really matters. It's not easy. I get nervous, like what's he gonna think? That I don't trust him? It doesn't matter what he thinks. And again, I'll say, you've already got that connection. And I know everyone has different personalities, you can't guarantee. But again, over the years, I've used the approach, I've coached many people, and it really, really does work. the years, I have talked to many, I can't even imagine how many patients. And most people are scared. They're anxious. So if I can get one thing across, is always speak from your heart. That energy, it just comes out. And when people feel that, you are so much more likely to get the help that you need. And they listen. They really listen. They take you seriously. And you get the best care that you possibly can. I'd like to briefly share one of the stories in the book that will illustrate why I'm saying what I am and how important it is to speak up. My husband, I found myself in the ER with my husband. He had terrible pain. Of course, they worked him up. It was chest pain, radiating everywhere. They worked him up for cardiac issues first, and that was fine. So then they started with the CAT scans, the ultrasounds. He wasn't getting better. They were giving him pain medication. Wasn't getting better. He stayed there. They watched him, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 hours, and the nurse came in and she said, the doctor has no idea what's going on. He cannot find anything. He's going to discharge Carl, but in the morning, he wants him to see his doctor. And in those days, if you can believe it, the doctors actually took it upon themselves to make sure that you got in a timely manner. He wanted him to see him the next morning. And I thought, something doesn't seem right. I just wasn't feeling, my gut said, no, he shouldn't go home. But then I said to myself, wait a minute, you're a nurse. Of course, you can monitor him. And if something happens, you just bring him back. And I looked up, and on the monitor, his blood pressure was 200/98. I said, no, something's not right. So I called the nurse. Again, it's not easy. You're questioning what they're doing. It's not easy, but you have to. And I said, I am not comfortable taking my husband home. I said, is the doctor aware of his blood pressure? So she said, well, let me go talk to him. 5 minutes later, the doctor came in and he apologized. He said, I am so sorry I missed that blood pressure. He said, of course he can't go home. I'm gonna call a surgeon in. If his pain won't go away and he's got this blood pressure, something's going on. So the surgeon came in after a full exam, looked at all his test results. He said, I don't see anything, but I think I should take him in and do exploratory surgery. So that was for a nurse. I just could not believe that we were going to sign for him to go in and have surgery and not even know if there's something going on. But of course, went with my gut again. Then I trusted the surgeon. And I waited about, I'd say 3 hours. I knew something is up because that's a long time for exploratory surgery. When he came out, he said, Ava, Carl had a hot gallbladder, meaning that it was about ready to rupture. He said, if he went home, he said, it is my belief that he would have died. And it was then that I realized, really realized how important it is to speak up. You don't have to be a medical person, it just so happens I am, but I'm sure a lot of you have had that gut feeling. You don't even know why. Go with it. Don't be afraid that you're going to be wrong. And I put doctors on pedestals, not just doctors, any healthcare people, for many years. They're human. That's the bottom line. Mistakes might be made, they will. And I do believe with some of these practices that I'm talking about, it can really alleviate. The outcomes will be much better and it will save lives. Go back to the portal. There's so much information. Your medications, just everything, all your test results, you can message the doctor. It's really a huge, huge tool. It's something that everybody needs. I took care of a patient once. I got a call, they needed someone to go into her home every day, 3 times a day, to keep her home because she was a diabetic and she was ending up in the hospital over and over and over again. So it was like 5 minutes from my house. So I said, okay, I'll do this. And I found a couple people to help me because I couldn't do 3 times a day, 7 days a week. And while I was in there, I looked at her records and things just didn't seem right. So when we went I took her to the doctor and it said that she was a type 2 diabetic. And she told me she's a type 1. And they questioned whether she was forgetful, little dementia. So when I asked the doctor, she said, oh, she is a type 1. And I said, really? So it was in her record that she was a type 2 diabetic. So I told the doctor, explained what was going on, and I don't know, probably most of you know, with type 2, you don't have enough insulin, or the insulin you have isn't working. Type 1, your pancreas isn't putting any insulin, and you need, to take insulin for the rest of your life. So I told the doctor, and expected that the records would be changed. And about a week or 2 later, I ended up taking her into the ER. Her blood sugar would, no matter what I did, I used to call the doctor's office and they would coach me as to exactly what to give, and it wouldn't help. So I got to the hospital, and she had been such a regular at that hospital that I could tell they were just poo-pooing her. And I went up to the doctor and I said, could you tell me what the diagnosis is? What does she have? And he said, type 2 diabetes. And I said, no, she has type 1 diabetes. And his face, I'll just bottom line it. She went from them poo-pooing her, thinking that she's just not eating well, not doing this, doing that, to going to ICU. And she survived, but literally it took that, and the records were not changed. So following up on things, even though you've told someone, you have to follow up. And for people who this might be difficult, even the portal, setting up the portal, people can help you. I didn't set mine up. My son and my daughter-in-law, they do all my tech stuff. So there are people out there that can help you. And once you are set up and you just get into it, it's very self-explanatory. I've been so blessed to be in this profession. And what I get from patients, I believe, is more than I ever give. And when I was 15 years old, a friend asked me if I wanted a job at the nursing home. And I thought, great. And I asked my parents and they said, sure, what are you going to be doing? I said, I don't know, but I'm in. And that night I was so excited, and I was seeing myself answering the phone and cleaning the rooms, maybe feeding someone. Well, when I got there, in those days, you were a nurse's aide. You did not have to have a license. Today, a certification. Today it's a CNA, certified. They trained me, and I was showering people, walking people. I could not believe what I was doing. I couldn't believe that I would ever be able to do that. I walked out of there, floating out of there, and I knew at 15 that this is what I would do for the rest of my life. May you all always find your voice. Thank you. I would love to meet some of you and chat if you have any questions in the coffee room, but it sounds like you're going to be very busy. So I do have some books in the coffee room. I have no idea if anyone can sneak in and say hello, but I would love to meet you. Thank you.